Welcome back to That Spicy History Teacher, where we delve into some of the most significant and heart-wrenching events in history. Today we take a solemn journey into the world of submarines, a marvel of engineering that's played a crucial role in both warfare and exploration. However, alongside their remarkable achievements, submarines have also borne witness to some of the most devastating disasters at sea. Join us as we count down the top 10 worst submarine disasters in history, uncovering the harrowing tales of bravery, loss, and tragedy that lie beneath the waves. Beginning our tragic countdown is the USS Thresher. This formidable 3,700-ton nuclear-powered attack submarine met its fate on April 10, 1963, while conducting deep-diving tests southeast of Cape Cod. The accident claimed the lives of all 129 brave men on board, marking the highest-ever submarine death toll in history. Tragically, the Thresher had sent distorted signals of minor problems to the submarine rescue ship Skylark before succumbing to the depths within a few minutes. At the time of the accident, the submarine was navigating at a depth of about 1,300 feet. The wreckage of the Thresher was later discovered on the seafloor, resting at a haunting depth of 8,400 feet. Investigation revealed a major cause of the disaster was a piping failure, resulting in the loss of power and eventual catastrophe. Our journey now takes us to the heart-wrenching tale of the K-141 Kursk, a Russian nuclear submarine from the Oscar II class. On August 12, 2000, the disaster struck in the Barents Sea, claiming the lives of all 118 crew members. The Kursk was participating in the Summer X exercise when an explosion occurred while preparing to fire dummy torpedoes. The catastrophe was attributed to a leakage of high-test peroxide from one of the Type 65 torpedoes, triggering a chain reaction that devastated the first three compartments. Shockingly, 23 crew members found themselves trapped in the ninth compartment after the submarine hit the seafloor. However, due to a lack of oxygen, they all tragically perished. Moving on to our eighth entry, we encounter the tragic story of the USS Scorpion. This 3,000-ton skipjack-class nuclear-powered attack submarine met its demise 400 miles southwest of the Azores Island on May 1968. While returning from a Mediterranean deployment, all 99 crew members on board lost their lives, leaving the US Navy in shock and mourning. The Scorpion reported its position approximately 50 miles south of the Azores before it mysteriously failed to return to Norfolk. A desperate search was launched, but the submarine was eventually declared presumed lost. Months later, a deep submergence vehicle from the research ship USNS Mizar located the remains of the Scorpion at a depth of more than 10,000 feet. Investigation suggested that the disaster was caused either by an inadvertent activation of a Mark 37 torpedo's battery or an actual torpedo explosion. Now we come across the tragic fate of the HMS Theaters, a British submarine that embarked on final diving trials in Liverpool Bay in 1939. During these trials, disaster struck, leading to the deaths of about 99 out of the 103 crew members aboard. The Theaters encountered an inrush of water that flooded the torpedo tubes and bow section, causing it to sink to a depth of 150 feet. The crew quickly attempted to discharge an indicator buoy, fired a smoke candle, and alerted the submarine base, HMS Dolphin. For several agonizing hours, the stern of the submarine remained afloat, giving a glimmer of hope. However, only 4 crew members managed to escape, while the rest tragically perished due to suffocation. Continuing our somber journey, we now arrive at the K-129 submarine, a strategic ballistic missile submarine belonging to the Soviet Pacific Fleet. In March 1968, this submarine, along with its 98-member crew, vanished without a trace in the vast Pacific Ocean. The K-129 was lost after leaving Kamchatka on a patrol mission, and initial attempts by the Soviet naval authorities to contact the submarine failed. By the third week of March, the Soviet naval headquarters announced the K-129 as missing. Despite extensive search missions, the wreckage remained elusive. It wasn't until August 1968 that the USS Halibut discovered the sunken K-129 northwest of Oahu, lying at a staggering depth of about 16,000 feet. To this day, the cause of the disaster remains a haunting mystery. Our fifth entry leads us to the tragic tale of Ming 361, one of the Ming-class diesel-electric submarines of the People's Liberation Army Navy. On an April day in 2003, the submarine was conducting exercises in the Yellow Sea between Korea and the Shandong province when catastrophe struck. A malfunction in the diesel engines consumed the submarine's oxygen, leading to the suffocation of all 70 crew members on board. Despite being afloat for the next 10 days, the Ming 361 remained on a no-contact mission until it was finally identified by Chinese fishermen. Tragically, the submarine's half-submerged state made rescue efforts impossible, and the entire crew lost their lives. The fourth entry on our list takes us to the heartbreaking story of the K-8, a nuclear-powered submarine of the Soviet Navy's Northern Fleet. In April 1970, during the naval exercise named Ocean 70, fires broke out in the third and seventh compartments, triggering a series of devastating events. As the crew struggled to suppress the fires, the submarine lost power as both reactors were shut down. With smoke filling the control room and neighbouring compartments, evacuation efforts were hindered. Some of the crew managed to evacuate before the submarine sank to the depth of 4,680 metres. Regrettably, 52 crew members, including the vessel's captain, succumbed to CO2 poisoning and flooding during the chaotic rescue and damage control mission. Now we come to the heart-wrenching account of the K-278 Komsomolets, the only Project 685 Plavnik, NATO codename Mike-class, nuclear-powered attack submarine in the Soviet Navy. The Komsomolets was navigating the Norwegian Sea, about 200 miles north of the Norwegian mainland, when disaster struck. A fire broke out in the submarine's seventh compartment, spreading rapidly to other sections and forcing the shutdown of its nuclear reactors. With the sub powerless, most of the crew bravely abandoned the ship while it was sinking. Some attempted to escape using emergency escape capsule, but only one among them survived. A fishing boat managed to rescue 30 crew members, but tragically, 42 others lost their lives that fateful day. At number 2 on our list, we encounter the tragic tale of the USS S4, one of the S-class submarines operated by the US Navy. On December 17, 1977, disaster struck during the S4's underwater trials off Provincetown, Massachusetts, when it collided with the US Coast Guard's cutter Paulding. The collision created a fatal hole in the submarine's hull, causing water to rush into the inner chamber. Helplessly, the submarine sank to the seafloor, resting at a depth of 110 feet. Tragically, the majority of the crew who reached the aft perished within a short time. 6 men in the torpedo room survived for more than a day, but they too lost their lives as rescue efforts were hindered by a severe storm. And finally, the most heart-rending submarine disaster in history is the K152 Napa. This Russian Akula-class nuclear-powered attack submarine met its tragic fate during an underwater test run in the Pacific Ocean. The accidental activation of the firefighting system resulted in the release of freon gas into the air, causing suffocation of the crew members on board. A total of 20 souls were lost among the 208 on board, while 21 others suffered injuries. The incident sent shockwaves through the Russian Navy, leaving a profound impact on the nation and the families of those who perished. In a deeply poignant twist of fate, the submarine was later delivered to India in December 2011 on a 10-year lease and is currently operated under the name INS Chakra by the Indian Navy. As we conclude our journey through these 10 most tragic submarine disasters, we are reminded of the immense risk and sacrifices that come with exploring the depths of the ocean. Our hearts go out to the brave sailors who lost their lives in these unfathomable tragedies. If you found this video informative and thought-provoking, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with others. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on another compelling and thought-provoking video from That Spicy History Teacher. Until next time, let us remember these stories as a poignant reminder of the courage and resilience of those who venture into the unknown. Stay curious, stay safe, and may we always cherish the memories of those who have sailed into eternity beneath the waves.